Look, man.
Where?
Oh, I see.
Wow.
Oh my. Bowen, look over there.
Wow, is that
culture? Yes.
My goodness.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. Las Culturistas.
Ding dong! Las Culturistas calling.
You know what I just realized it is for me, and I didn't understand it to be this type of day today, but it is. It's a multiple liquids day.
You're a water sign, classically.
Oh yeah,
and the moon is new.
babe. I think the moon might be new right now, but by the time this episode is out, the moon could be old as fuck.
But I'm just saying, you are filling yourself up to be dictated by the pull of the lunar pull.
Did you know that actually, when we drink water now, it hydrates us? Okay, let me be careful about this. So the water that we drink now is the hydration that we have in 3 weeks.
And the piss that we piss tonight is from the water that we drank today.
Correct. So when you piss later,
I don't understand this at all.
When you piss later, it will be water you've had recently. That's often why you'll find that you drink a lot of water and then like a short time later we'll have to pee. That is that very water. But the hydration station is water you drank from a while back. You know who told me this? Doug Peck.
Oh, well,
our
the
vocal
genius,
coach.
The genius Doug Peck.
Who knows about hydration and, quite frankly, drinking water. Also, room temp is best.
Now, what do I do if it burns a little?
When you pee?
I'm kidding.
When was your last STI?
Oh gosh, we're going there.
At this point,
we're gonna ask our question. Our guest this question. She's family. I'm gonna say the last time I got on like a doxy thing because someone called like a few months ago.
Someone called and said, "Hey, girl.
Hey, girl, I'm so sorry.
I regret to inform you.
Respectful. Oh, so no, and there was shame there, and I was like, you truly have no reason to be ashamed. Thank you for letting me know, and like I'm gonna go get the doxy. So that was a few months ago, but then like it was just the pill, and I've gotten like the shot in the ass, and I'm like, we're not joking around. What about you?
I've never taken DoxyPep, which for everyone out there who doesn't know, for the what we're gonna call the 98%, which is the women that listen to this. DoxyPep would be like
a prophylactic
a prophylactic the day after
for your bacterial things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get them eliminated. Never taken that, but never had to. I just had one gnarly STI back in the day. Like a lot of sexually active people I talk to are like, yes, I have. It's not a big deal. Like I've gotten them, a series of them, whatever. I've just had one nasty one.
And
syphilis.
Oh, syph is tough.
I was 26, and I got the pirate STI.
Oh, I don't like that.
I said syphilis is like the pink of STIs. It has always been here.
And it will always remain.
It's rule of culture number 12. Syphilis is like the pink
of STIs. It has always been here.
And it will always remain. Love pink.
Love pink. I love our guest.
You want to know why?
She's family.
Truly. And I feel like I love the joy of the Readers, Katie's, Publicists, Finalists, and Kyle's whenever producer Becca joins the fray. And I feel as though this is an auspicious day.
Yes.
Because not only is our beloved producer Becca Ramos joining us, but it is for a terrific reason, which is the launch of her very own podcast right here. And it's called Welcome to El Barrio. It is out on February 3rd.
Right here at iHeart.
Right here at iHeart.
Big money?
No.
Oh,
well.
No, it's on the myCultura network.
Okay, it's on the myCultura network, and I would just go ahead and say, can they hit pre-subscribe? I don't know how podcasts work.
Yes, when this episode comes out, the trailer will be out, so you can save the show and come back next week.
Are you getting used to doing this? Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
You covered your face, I think.
Oh, no.
So
no,
there you go.
No,
I just want to make sure.
Like and subscribe.
What a pro. We got to bring her in. This is our beloved producer who's joined us on our benchmark episodes
Yes.
chimes in for very important reasons.
Oh yeah, she famously said every 30 seconds. What did she say?
Ding and dong.
Ding and dong for the iconic 400.
And then a chicha occasionally.
Oh, the mother of Chicha.
Mother of Chicha, the amazing dog. She is the host, creator, producer of Welcome to Barrio, out February 3rd, as we said. Everyone, please welcome
Becca Ramos,
Oh my
aka
God.
producer Becca, now guest Becca.
This is crazy. It's
Yeah, what are you
crazy to
feeling?
sit there usually
Right.
and then now be here in the lights and the cameras and the action.
Right.
Welcome to your public life.
I know. It's scary. I posted my first front-facing camera video yesterday in promotion of the show because I was like, oh, we're a little less than a month out. I probably should start posting about it. And it was well received, but it is nerve-wracking. Like now I have to
Totally.
like not just hide behind everything like I normally do, making sure everything happens and goes smoothly. Now it's like my job to also be the face.
You're the face. You were never hiding behind. You were always pulling the levers.
Yes, I'm strategically making everything happen. The man behind the curtain, so to speak.
Right.
Also, on any given day, you are the best dressed person.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, but you know that.
Well, no, it's always nice to hear though.
do you identify as someone who has like
A sartorialist?
Would you say you identify as someone with good fashion
Yes.
or your own fashion?
Both,
'Cause it's
but I would
both.
think good fashion.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Just
because
finalist
I don't
behavior.
think I'm tacky. You know,
I would never use
Not
that
a
word to
chance.
describe you. What are the words that would describe the aesthetic?
colorful.
I would say
I just colorful. I'm wearing brown, which is like not normally, but
Well,
I had to have
brown's
a
a
pop of
color.
red.
Brown's a color.
Brown's a color.
And you're full of the red and the brown and the black that
Yes.
I'm seeing picked up on the boots.
I think a monochrome look or a color block look is kind of my style.
Yeah.
And like one print maybe.
Prints can be deceiving. Because you might see that print and say that's an interesting print. And then you
Yes.
find out when you wear the print, that print is not for you.
Absolutely. And I do have a couple pieces like that where I was like, ooh, you know what? It might be time to get rid of this.
Why do we hedge for so long on certain pieces? I have shit where I'm like, that should have been out years ago.
They should have left that on the rack.
I think it depends if like you bought it or if it was gifted to you. Because sometimes I'll buy something and it was a little more expensive than I probably would have wanted to pay for that.
Yes.
And then you bring it home and you're like, I don't love it. But now you're like, well, I'm kind of stuck with it. It was at a thrift. I can't return it.
You know what though?
And you try to
Those
make
are
it
the
work.
things you wear on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I feel like now that podcasts are a visual medium for real, don't we know?
Prophecy foretold.
The prophecy was so foretold, it's not even funny. But like I do find that it's a good place to wear like your bold stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I almost wore a really bold pant today,
Whoa.
but then I decided against it because I wanted to wear the vest. I bought this vest pretty recently
good
at
vest.
thank you, at a vintage shop upstate. And then I was like, I don't know how to wear this vest. And so, like you just expressed, I was like, I will wear this vest on this podcast today.
I will wear
With
this vest
as
today.
you just expressed.
I was like, this needs to be worn, but I don't know how to wear it. And I went through so many iterations. And then I ultimately was like, okay, I'm just going to do a monochrome look, but I don't want it to be boring. So I wore the red.
And you have an iconic neckerchief.
Yes. So I wore a little,
gorgeous.
specifically the Beyonce Levi's.
Is that what we're giving?
handkerchief. Yes. I bought it for Cowboy Carter, but also it is the one she wore in the commercial.
So this is dovetailing into another question, which is when an artist like Beyonce, who is the icon, like sort of like we know we're going to be in the midst of a new era,
Yeah.
which is accompanied by a merch drop. How quickly do we?
Bye.
Yeah, I know the answer for you immediately.
I'm pretty immediate on it.
Yeah.
I immediately bought the Cowboy Carter jacket.
Yep, you wore it to the show.
Still have the ashtray in
It's
on
such
my
a good
kitchen
jacket.
counter. It's a great jacket.
Yeah.
And various ribbed t-shirts. So I'm very quick on it, which isn't. It's good, but it's also not great.
I am
It's
in
a form
between.
of fast fashion to me.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
and also I hate to be someone who's like, yeah, I'm wearing the merch, but with Beyonce, I am that like no other artist.
Yes.
And I love lots of artists and I love going to shows, but Beyonce's the only one that I'm like, and I have to buy the merch.
No. See, that's the thing. Is it's like I'll get militant very quickly about like supporting.
Yeah.
Like when the rock album is when the topic is not just like just something that's floating around.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to have a rock era.
I'm very excited. I'm very intrigued. I can't wait to revisit Lemonade to re-enter the rock era.
Yes.
Because that's where we got a first taste.
Don't hurt yourself.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Do we think the motif is, so if Renaissance was like silver and metallics.
Yes.
Cowboy Carter was denim.
Yes.
Do we think rock is going to be leather?
I feel like it has to be.
So you better stuck up on the leather now. All
Yeah.
of you. All of you. I'm talking to all of you.
Well, she's been hinting. But I will say, actually, Beyonce's first rock moment, this is a performance. This is one of her best live performances.
With Prince? No.
So, well, obviously that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like when she explicitly, like in her own individual way, was like, I'm gonna do a rock song. Do you remember when she performed "If I Were a Boy" and did a medley with
Yes.
"You Ought to Know"?
Wow.
Yes.
So she came out and she did. It was "If I Were a Boy," which, by the way, it's not a Beyonce song that everyone talks about.
No.
But I do think it's one of my favorites,
It
and
is,
it's
yeah.
one of her number one hits.
I would concur with that. She also made it in Spanish.
Yes, she certainly did.
He did. I used to listen to it in Spanish.
Yeah.
Just because my Spanish is really bad. And
Uh-huh.
in college, when I was taking Spanish, I would listen to like all these songs that Beyonce would flip.
Like the irreplaceable Spanish
Yes.
version. Yeah.
Yes. Specifically.
When an artist does that, gives you bilingual.
Yes.
When it doesn't have to be my own thing. There's a Gentle Whispering Maria. She does English videos. She does Russian videos sometimes. I always watch the Russian shit first.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me that. But with Beyonce, with the Spanish thing, like, I guess like we haven't really, and I think it's okay that we haven't really like zeroed in on that. But it's like that was a great risky, I
Yeah.
guess, quote unquote, not risky, but like
I think she knew her audience because she's from Texas.
Yes.
So there is like I think she has an homage to Selena.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of overlap in the like Tejano community
Yes.
with her, especially because she comes from Houston, the Rodeo. The Rodeo famously has lots of Tejano artists. That's where
Yes.
Selena also got her big break, was at the
Yes.
Rodeo. Weirdly, also Bruno Mars and lots of other people.
I didn't know
don't
that about Bruno
I don't know
Mars.
if it was his big break, but I definitely saw him at the Rodeo growing
Roots in
up.
the rodeo.
Yes.
Yes.
Lots of roots in the rodeo. A lot of black and brown artists have roots in the Houston Livestock Show Rodeo.
Right.
So I do think if you are from the South and you're like trying to figure out different avenues to break, I did notice a lot of artists will do a couple do a couple Spanish songs. Because Casey Musgrave covered Como la Flor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
it is like a weird
It's a
bridge.
Texas thing.
Yeah.
Is Casey Musgraves from Texas?
she is. She's from Golden, Texas.
She's from Golden, Texas.
I just read this because, I don't know if you know, A24 has like 2 books about 2 states, specifically one for Florida and one for Texas.
Uh-huh.
I bought myself with my like A24 membership discount, whatever, the Texas book because I was like, well, I'm a girl from Texas. I
Yeah.
gotta buy this
Gotta.
book. And I was flipping through. Casey Musgraves does the what's it called? The prologue.
the forward.
The forward.
The forward.
Yes. Casey Musgraves does the forward. And it's really beautiful. She does like her little homage to coming from such a small town, Texas. Because she's from like central, middle of nowhere, Texas. Golden, Texas is like, I think, don't quote me on this, West Texas? Like like central west. Like I think west of Waco. And I should know, I went to Baylor, but yeah, small town.
Yeah.
Speaking of Texas, what is the biography there for you? Give us Becca Ramos diaspora
Yeah.
life.
So I was born in Los Angeles, California, believe it or not. My parents are both Puerto Rican, but from different ways of life. My mom grew up in Puerto Rico. She was born and raised on the island. My mom's mom is New Yorican. She was born in New York, moved to Puerto Rico, had kids in Puerto Rico. So my mom has a more traditional Puerto Rican diasporic experience.
Yes.
And then my dad, he was born here in Brooklyn, but then moved to California when he was very little, and he's like a Valley kid. He sounds like John Stamos, and he has a very strong, like LA accent, which is probably why I don't have much of a Southern accent between my
Right.
2 parents. But they end up in Texas, both of them, when they're like in their early 20s, and meet via their families, and they both
Where in Texas?
in Houston.
Oh, great.
And they bond over their hatred of living there. And so they get married and they move back to California. They're like, fuck this. We don't want to be in Texas. Our families can figure it out without us. And they go back. And they have my brother and I in California. And then life just got too expensive, too hard. My parents went to college in their 30s. So they didn't have like a traditional like career path or income. And so they're like, well, maybe in Texas it's cheaper. Our parents are still in Texas. We can figure it out in Texas. So then they move us when I was 2 to Texas, and then I grew up in Texas, and I stayed there. I've been in Houston the whole time, ended up at Baylor, and then I lived in Dallas for a stint. I like dabbled in Austin, and then I ultimately, when I graduated, landed an internship at a big ad agency in Portland, Oregon. But I was like, loved Portlandia. I was like, see ya.
See
Like,
ya.
let me see.
Because you saw in Portlandia,
Yeah, I was like-
we're a new world.
It's where young people go to retire.
Totally.
So I was like, I'm a young person who wants to like have a chill life. So
Yeah.
I moved to Portland. I enjoyed it. It was a cute little stint. I
You
was
smoke
there.
a lot of reefer.
It was my first time.
Yeah.
Well, I had smoked a couple times in college, but I was such a goody two shoes. Like
Yeah,
I
I
was
might
deeply
identify.
I think
afraid.
that's kind of both of us too.
Yeah.
We were late to the game.
Well, you have immigrant parents. I have very brown parents. They were like fear of God in me. Like
course.
if you do anything wrong, you're
You
you're
will
dead.
die.
So I was, and then I went to a private Baptist college, which not to say there were plenty of drugs. Like rich
Well,
kids doing cocaine everywhere.
Rich religious
people find
kids.
ways to
Yeah.
do drugs no matter what their
Exactly.
access or
Yeah.
it's
I mean, it was a dry campus. We were
Yeah.
technically not allowed to drink. You could get expelled for being drunk on campus, even if you were of age.
and does that make you want it more and seek it out more?
I was in a sorority. I like did the whole thing. I was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
rural, like Southern girl.
Yeah.
Like I was a Zeta. Like I was in a white sorority, and I lived like in a sorority house off campus. And I feel like if you were in the Greek life, you partied hard. Like that was
Right.
just. I was like typically the DD because or not DD, but I was at least the one
Damn
keeping
it.
it a little because. And not to get too dark, but when I went to Baylor, it was kind of like a scary time to be a girl at Baylor. There was a lot of like rape culture at Baylor. Like a lot of
What
like
year was this?
I was there 2013 to 2017.
Okay.
So this is like peak Art Briles gets fired because, and this is when Baylor's at their peak for football, right?
Got it.
So people in the conversation before I went to Baylor in 2013, it was like the Branch Davidian, like that, like cults that
Yeah.
did the mass murder.
Yeah.
After I started going to Baylor, it was like football. We became a football school. Like we were like this underdog that became a big football school.
Football filled the vacuum of Branch Davidian.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It was crazy because people would be like, you go to Baylor Waco where that like cult is.
Where Waco-
and then it
yeah.
became like, oh, Baylor Bears football. It became a big deal.
That's so interesting.
And while I was there though, it was like while Baylor was like scoring high in football, it was also like we're covering up all the football players raping people. So then it became this big thing. Like by the time I graduated, our Briles got fired. They fired our president, who was the lawyer against Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky. He's the one who convinced like whatever was defending Bill Clinton. He was our president at the university.
And he got fired.
He gets fired for covering up the assaults happening on campus.
There you go.
And then they still let him do our commencement speech, which is crazy. He was disgraced president.
Yep.
They fired him while I was there and then brought him back to do our commencement speech. Crazy. But all that to say, the culture at Baylor was wild at that time. Like you're thinking Trump got elected.
Yes.
You know, like the assault culture was at its peak. They're like
Yeah.
they're teaching us as the sorority girls, they would have us do these seminars. They were like, yeah, just make sure you're like not too drunk and like don't wear short skirts and like be better.
Wow.
And then it's like, what are you telling the guys? Oh, that's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So-
because do you think that's an assumption that they just won't change?
Yes.
Boys will be boys.
100%. And they were like definitely taking fraternities off campus because it was like in tandem as these like football players were being covered up. These frats were getting really rowdy and they were getting like flagged by nationals to be like, hey, this chapter hazing is really bad. This chapter's hazing is really bad. So I was at a time in the Greek culture, especially like that X movie was out, whatever, the party movie.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like where the culture was. Like Baylor was like trying to compete with UT to be like the big party school.
Yeah, that was like it
Yeah.
almost felt achievement based.
Yes.
To be the biggest
partier.
and the rowdiest.
Yes. And it's like, LOL, you're a private Baptist college in the middle of nowhere, Texas. But they were partying.
They
you know,
were
it wasn't
partying.
nothing. It wasn't that small, you know.
And so you're making a DD choice.
Yeah, so I was like not always like sober by any means, but I definitely was like keeping an eye on my girls. I
Wow.
was like, especially because once again, not to get too dark, being a brown girl at a very white university,
gonna say.
I'm undesirable. I didn't know I was hot until I left Texas.
Becca.
Like, I truly was like, I'm ugly. Like, no one likes me.
Oh my
And then I like
God.
moved to Portland, Oregon, of all places. And then I was like, oh, I wasn't ugly. I was just ugly for like a private Baptist university in the middle of nowhere, Texas.
Where everyone looks the same.
Yeah. So I was protecting my girls, and my girls were white mostly. And so, you know, I would see them. I'm like swatting them off my best friend because she's like peak beautiful, like brown, long, luscious, gorgeous hair, like teeny meeny little thing. Love her to death. She's still my best friend. But the men flock to her, you know? And so I'm just like standing down only 2 drinks in being like, do not put anything in her drink or I will take you down.
Yeah.
And
And so you're seeing attention being given in a new way. You're looking at it from the outside and therefore can see it the most clearly.
Yes, exactly. So I had like fun at my house. Like I lived in a house of like 5 sorority girls. So we partied.
And
like,
it was
wasn't-
community.
Yeah.
It was a good experience.
I had a great like Greek life experience, even though there was obviously like mean girls, bullying, like whatever. You're gonna have that at any school age of 18 to 22-year-olds, you know.
Totally.
But I ended up building a really strong community of like girlfriends. I'm still best friends with 2 of the girls I lived with in college. They're still my girls to this day. And I think had I gone to somewhere like UT, it actually would have been worse because the Greek life I think is more toxic at other public universities. I think Baylor, because of the religious aspect, it actually was way more tame for the sororities, not for the fraternities, but for the sororities. So yeah, it was not the most pleasant experience, but it's a story.
Yeah.
But just on an environmental level, like, of course that like starts to be pernicious, and you start to like you start to live in the system of like the whiteness of it all.
Yeah, you're like, I obviously didn't have the language we all have now with like assimilation, like learning what it means to be a person of color, all these things. These were not conversations we were having in 2013 through 2017. I didn't find out what Afro-Latina meant until 2017. I was like, oh, that's me. I just was like, I'm Puerto Rican. And then people were like, you're black. And I'd be like, well, no. And then now I'm like, yes. But then I didn't have that language.
Yes.
So at that time, I was just like, well, if I'm just the best at everything, I'll be accepted, surely. Like, I was like on the executive council of my sorority. I was a dean's list student. I mean, I went to a private Baptist college. I was like, if I'm good enough, they'll like me. And then I dated this guy in college, though. He was 5 years older than me, which was already a problem in and of itself. You know, if you're 20, don't date a 25-year-old.
Oh, God.
And also, certainly no one older than that either.
Yeah.
You don't know what's weird until...
You don't know it's weird till you're out of it.
Until after the fact.
And so he was my TA, so already bad.
Were you attracted to the fact that it felt like a hierarchy? Like
100%. Well, because all semester when he was my TA, I thought we were flirting, but I took it as like, tee-hee-hee, this is so fun. This is like a fantasy. This is like heated rivalry.
It's
like,
a
this
thing I'm not really supposed to be doing.
You
and so
watch
there's
Cheated-
something horny about it.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
watched Cheated Rivalry back in the day.
Yeah, of course.
You knew what would happen.
I knew what it was.
You knew what would happen.
No, it was fantasy to me, right?
Yeah.
Like when I would go and I would go back
course.
to my girlfriends and be like, oh my God, no, I think he's flirting with me. And then I got really drunk in the summer with one of my friends because I stayed in Waco for that summer because I was interning or something. And I got really drunk and I added him on Facebook because that's the time we were living in. Instagram was not like that. But I like found his name, his full name, and I added him on Facebook. And then he messaged me asking to take me out because I was no longer his student anymore. And so he was like, well, we can like go on a date. And then we went on a date, and the next thing you know, we dated for like almost 3 years.
Wow.
I dated from like 2020 to 23 till I moved to Portland, and then like it kind of fizzled out from when I was living in Portland, the long distance, many of the things. But I say all this to say, as we were dating my senior year, he is a grad student. He is older. I had to get a fake ID to go out with him because he was embarrassed to take me out. Like, should have known. The writing was on the walls.
Lots of things that you ignore when you are just
when
simply
you're 20,
attracted to someone.
Yes.
Right.
And we're
assuming a lot about that. He's going to take care of me.
Yes. And so we're out one night and he was like, oh, well, you know, my family doesn't like love you. And I was like, huh? I was like, wait. I met your family. I've gone to Virginia to meet them. This is before Get Out came out, which
Was he
is
white?
related. Yes, very much so. He's like East Coast, family of lawyers. Dad went to Georgetown, like old money.
Epstein list?
Like probably.
He was Epstein list white.
So to me, I was like, this was also exciting because I was like, oh, he's like elite. Like he's special. You know, I'm just a bumpkin from Houston, Texas. He's like from the East Coast.
Sure,
like he knows culture. And so
he graded my papers.
Yeah,
whatever.
literally. And so he was a geology TA, which is like, I had to take one lab
geology
science.
TA?
Yes.
He brought in the rocks.
I know.
Who fucking cares?
Literally. And so, but we're out and he's like,
Make sure there's no dirt on this one.
To all the geology
Okay,
TAs
we're good.
out there.
I'm gonna sit in the corner now.
We love you, geology TAs.
We respect you, geology
we
TAs.
respect you, scientists. Just not for me. No, but, and I was like, what do you mean your family doesn't like me? He's like, well, you're just not like a rich white D1 athlete. And he said this to my face. And then he was just like, and it was negging. Of course, now we have this language. We have therapy language now.
Yeah.
We have all these words we can overuse.
But at that time, I was like, and it was like the first moment that I was like, oh, it doesn't matter how much I try to assimilate. I will never be enough. Like for these, like I can be the best I got. At that time, I had already landed my job at the ad agency, which is the #1 ad agency in the industry. Like I was the best of the best of the best in every category. And it was not enough for this family because simply I did not come from money and I was not white.
Do you think it never would have been enough, even if they did spend a lot of time with you?
Yes, I don't think it would have ever been enough because I remember so distinctly his mom came into town for something, like for work, and my mom happened to also come in town. And I was like, oh, we should get dinner. And so our moms met. And I remember feeling so, at that time, uncomfortable with how loud my mom was and how much of a, like, Puerto Rican woman she was. And it was because I was like shrinking myself to fit into this space that was so clearly not meant for me. And now I look back feeling so sad that I even ever felt that way looking at my mom. But I know where it came from because it was just like, it was so clear, the writing on the wall, that I was just never going to be accepted by this person. And I think if I had ridden it out, we would have gotten married and divorced. Like I do think, like, had I not moved to Portland, I would be married and divorced by now.
And your whole relationship to what I think we might be getting at, like on like the pathway to you starting this podcast, is like you probably developed a very wonderful sense of like where you quote unquote like what the lineage is, right? And like how you had both of your parents are also diaspora Puerto Ricans who then went like, you know, who now like, and now you go back and like you revisit and you have this beautiful appreciation and this like connection to it. Like you got to root yourself in that.
Yes.
After this fucking
it's
like this thing.
Crazy to think about my past life in Texas, because now I've lived outside of Texas for almost a decade. I moved to Portland in 2017. So I was in Portland for like 3 years and I've been here for 6. So I've been almost out of Texas for a decade, but it's like, I kind of put my Texas life on a shelf sometimes. I feel like after Cowboy Carter came out, it was like the first time I was like, okay, it's okay for me to be Texas. Like I
was wondering how connected you are to Texas.
Yeah, now. I was very traumatized, I think, from my upbringing. Yeah. And now I've had enough distance and I've lived out of Texas long enough that I can have a deep appreciation for the beautiful parts of my upbringing, but I'm still never going back.
Right.
You know, it's something I'm trying to get my parents out of there. And they've even looked at me. I think when I first moved, they're very sad. And they were like, of course, like, we wish you could just get a job here. But I always knew, like, even from when I was little, like something in me, I was like, I'm not meant to be here. Like, I'm meant for bigger and better things. I want to achieve this big, grandiose life. I don't know what that looks like, but I know I can't do it here in Texas. And I think those first few years, they were like, come home. But then when I moved to New York, they were actually like, stay there. They're like, you're happy. You seem like this is where you're meant to be.
And they have roots here. You know
yeah, my
I mean?
mom she loves New York. She loves visiting. She grew up in her summers here in New York because my grandmother was born in Spanish Harlem and like grew up in Spanish Harlem and the Bronx. Like we have family in the Bronx, we have family in Spanish Harlem. So my mom spent summers in New York because she would go visit her grandmother who still lived in New York. But my dad has no connection to New York.
Sure.
He is very like, he is a California dude.
Yeah.
He loves
That's
LA.
so funny.
He misses LA.
Opposites truly attractive.
Yeah, he's like, please take me back. If you could pay, if you make enough money, Becca, please retire us in LA. And I'm like, I hope so. We will get there.
I think people
actually.
with the right idea think of like California as a retirement
California,
destination. My
yeah.
parents are in Florida, and it's tough.
Yeah, because it's like you're like, oh, it's so warm and sunny and Disney's right there, but then it's like,
Oh
it's
please,
Florida.
the Disney of it all fades right
It's so-
away when
but-
you realize that is not the
Is
state.
your family? Because I know
Tertiary
you love Disney, but does your family, are they Disney?
The reason that we loved Disney is because we were that was the at the time
Yeah.
affordable vacation.
Well, no, because
for
my
us.
family's a Disney
Yeah.
family too,
Yeah.
and that was like the only vacation.
It is because
Back
it's
then.
Yeah.
So
you could
now
afford
it's
it.
now it's not affordable.
No, now
and
it's-
they're very bald about it being about the bottom line, and it's almost better for them to just be honest about it than put
Yeah.
like a Disney Mickey smile on it
Absolutely.
and take all the money from the families. But this was not how it was back in the day.
Yeah.
The reason why we were going down there so much, and I think one of the reasons why my sister went to college in Florida, is because we had like an experience going there
Yeah.
once a year, and it was of course a warm state.
Yeah.
It didn't have the political reputation that it has now. It didn't have sort of
We weren't thinking about it like that back then.
no,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
like that. And also we were young, and like I was just excited to go on vacation because
Literally.
we couldn't afford, like probably similarly to you,
Yeah.
like it was not, we weren't going anywhere fancy.
No,
Right.
and like basically because I grew up fairly poor up until like I was in middle school, because my mom was a stay-at-home mom up until I was like 7, and she finished her degree while she was a stay-at-home mom, and I like went to her college graduation in 2nd grade, I think. And it was after that it was like a huge change, because then my parents became a 2-income household, and my mom became a teacher, and all of a sudden by the time I got to high school, like freshman year, we started to like get to go to Disney and like go on vacation. But my dad he's a very particular person, and he likes only certain things in certain ways, and so the only vacation he was willing to go to is Disney. So then
Wow.
we just became a Disney family, because it's like the only place my dad was willing to travel to.
What are
was Disney.
what are the things, the particulars about Disney that work for
I
him?
think it's because it's so Americana.
Yeah,
You know, my dad
sure.
and my mom are very different diasporic and Puerto Ricans. Like my dad is like he's like, I'm an American. I grew up in California. I love hot dogs and pizza and burgers. He's like, I'm proud to be an American. Whereas like my mom, I think she is more enriched in the culture because she actually grew up on the island. But I say all that to say, when we're at Disney, I think he likes the Americana of it all. I
Yes.
think he likes that it's like, and it's like, he doesn't
a
have to
huge
think.
part of it.
Main Street
Yeah.
USA.
And he doesn't have
that
to
stuff.
think. You go and you eat the food, you go on the rides, there's no planning.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like you just show up
Yeah.
and everything's done for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the Disney way, the magic. And I think he likes that.
Yes.
I
Or at
think
least it was the way.
it was the way.
Now
I know we
you-
went last
now
year
you
and it
need
was
like the
yeah.
app, and you need like all this.
It's so much work.
You have to plan for months in order to enjoy.
And my
a day
mom
there.
is shout out, if you want a Disney vacation, hire my mom. She does do like
Does she really?
Yes.
Oh, so we could jam out about this.
Yes, no, absolutely. She does all the bookings and stuff. My mom's booked all our trips, but she also is like an official like Disney vacation planner.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, well, she retired as a teacher and then became like a little Disney vacation planner.
That's really
So
fun.
yeah.
fun.
So and she loves it.
That's a great
because she gets
retirement
discounts
job.
to go to Disney.
Totally, and
So-
like people call up and they're excited about having their vacation, and the fact is, it is overwhelming and difficult to
Yeah.
navigate.
Yeah,
like
and she loves doing that. She loves a plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
very
yeah.
organized, type A kind of woman.
Yeah.
So
Back to your mom though, and about like you feeling embarrassed that about her volume.
Yeah.
This reminds me of this thing someone said. I forget who, but it was like they were talking about like the way people talk about movies and TV and just culture nowadays. Where like I didn't like it because the characters are unlikable, and then it's this thing where it's like the thing you don't like is usually the point.
Yes.
And like
Right.
the thing that we feel shame about with particularly parents, because I'm relating to this on some level,
Yeah.
like the things that I would be very embarrassed about, like, and you would just have this embarrassment because of white supremacy or whatever, or just living in America. Like I'd be embarrassed about the food that I would bring to school or something like that. And now I'm realizing that's the reason the food is like the reasons for being ashamed of like the way our parents behaved or the way like our culture gets brought into these places is the point. That's
Yeah.
the great
It's the
thing about
beauty
them. Yeah,
of where you come from, because then you're not like everybody else. And I think it takes like growing up to realize that. I think
It's
when you're
supposed to be, yeah.
when you're young, you're like, oh my God, I just desperately don't want to be perceived in a way. You're like,
Yeah.
I want to fit, especially when you like already look out of place, right? Like I don't look like any of the other kids. I am also have the experience that many Puerto Ricans have where your family just all doesn't look the same because we're
Right.
from an island that's like so mixed. Like my dad is like very white Puerto Rican and my mom is much more dark skinned, but like I am like Afro-Latina. Like I don't look like either of my parents. At least when I was growing up, my hair was much curlier. My hair is like jet black. I was always darker. I am shades lighter than I grew up because in Texas, the sun's always out.
Yeah.
So I was very dark when I lived in Texas, like my whole life because the sun was always out.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just looked not like my family. So I think that was like already a problem. Like people used to, which is so fucked up. My mom used to tell me this as like a ha ha, and then you think about it, you're like, wow, that's like really messed up. But people used to stop my mom and be like, so is like Becca's dad the same as your son's dad? Because my brother and I are only a year and a half apart, but he and I look very different. He's got like light brown hair. He's much more fair than I am. And yeah, people used to ask my mom all the time when we were kids if we had the same dad.
Holy
and mom's
moly.
like, they're a year and a half apart. You think I'm crazy? You think I'm just stepping out on my husband like that? 8 months postpartum?
Well,
Like-
the comfort that people had
To say
asking
it.
her that
Yeah.
is, yeah, that's very telling.
Pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. Rewards programs are a lot like pop culture. They can be hard to keep up with.
But with Venmo's new rewards program, Venmo Stash,
Rewards are so easy because the more you do, the more you get. And you choose the bundle of brands you get cash back at.
it's giving Fiscal Queen, it's giving Star, it's giving up to 5% cash back at your favorite brands.
Just pick a bundle of your go-to spots to shop with your Venmo debit card and earn cash back at them.
Do more, get more with Venmo Stash.
The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 cash back per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms.
You just got back from Puerto Rico recording
I
these first episodes of the podcast.
did.
What was that like?
It was so much fun. It was actually kind of an interesting experience because this year, if you had asked me before 2024 if I would go to Puerto Rico 5 times in a year, I would have been like, no way.
Yeah.
I would never have the privilege to be able to do that. But in 2025, I went 4 times.
Wow.
Or 3 times? 3 or 4? 4. 3.
We're saying 3.
This is my 4th
3,
time.
but maybe the pinky went up. Yeah.
Because we went for my birthday.
3
'cause
plus.
3 plus times. We went for my 30th birthday, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we went for my partner's birthday in July. And then I had a good friend that was like, I'm selling my Bad Bunny tickets. Do you want them?
Oh, fuck
and I was
yes.
like, and it was like, well, we're literally in Puerto Rico right now. Do we book a trip to be back in 3 weeks? We did. And we came.
It's August? Or
It was August.
Yeah.
It was the first weekend
Of the
of the like
residency.
Puerto local residency.
Yes.
Because we ended up there the first weekend of the local residency, not because we had tickets, because we just wanted to come for
Right.
my partner's birthday, and then we tried to get tickets and we couldn't get them. And then at the same time, my friend's like, I can't make my trip. I'm gonna sell my tickets, but
Yep.
obviously I wanted to talk to you first. And I was like, yeah, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm
Yeah,
gonna buy those
yeah.
tickets. And so I brought my mom for that last trip. So I went 3 times, and then I just went this past week in January 2026. So 4 times in less than a year.
Wow.
I would have never thought in my lifetime that I'd be able to frequent the island like that. It's been such a beautiful, like, healing experience to like go to Puerto Rico, to network, to like build community. I like now have friends on the island. I like live there.
Yeah.
And like I can see, and it doesn't feel like I'm like on vacation so much. It
You have
feels
an
like I'm
artistic
coming
and professional
home.
purpose too. It's-
Exactly.
Throughout the seasons, even though it's like this a temperate
Yes.
thing all year, but yes.
Yes, and this is my first time going in the winter, which was very interesting because it definitely is colder than you think.
It's rainy.
It's rainy. There are these things called sand fleas, which I experienced when I went in March, many, many moons ago when I was in college, but I didn't experience them all summer. So I'm putting my thinking cap on. Puerto Ricans, let me know. Are the sand fleas worse in the winter? Because I am like eating.
Oh, yeah, you're
up.
big.
Yeah, it's
buffet.
bad.
Damn.
Yes.
It looks like I have chickenpox.
So did you prepare at all for this, or were you unawares?
I did not anticipate that at all. I was like doing a photo shoot on the beach, and they literally, I didn't even get in the water or like sit on the sand. They were jumping from the sand to bite me.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, do you identify as someone that, and a lot of people do identify as this, someone that mosquitoes love? Like some people are like, you do?
I do identify as someone that mosquitoes.
I see. I've been lucky about this. I have this privilege.
What's your blood
They
type?
don't seem to bite
I was gonna
me.
ask you.
Type
It's
O.
O.
Oh, I'm O.
That's weird.
Then you should. Then
love
mosquitoes
you.
should love you.
Is that a thing?
That's
My
what I've
mom
been
has
told.
always said
My mom has always said that too.
But maybe it's an old wives' tale.
Yeah.
Who
I'm
knows?
O positive.
I think I'm Oneg.
Oneg. I'm Oneg.
Maybe it's
Oh,
Oneg.
okay, so what is it? Is it you guys are the universal donors, or am
Yes.
I?
Yes.
Oneg.
I think.
And I'm a universal receiver.
Yeah, I was going to say you're a universal receiver.
Any old person can make a
come
deposit.
on.
But yes, we're universal donors. But I do think there is something to that.
There's something
but
to
the
that.
sand fleas are. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone got sand
doesn't
fleas.
matter who
Doesn't
you
matter who
are.
you are.
They will eat
Capital
you up.
HIM.
But
But this is beautiful because you're going for work.
Yes.
You're going for personal occasions of like, it's my birthday, it's my partner's
Yeah.
birthday. And then before we ask you the question, like talk about the experience of going to these shows, because this album,
Yeah.
W2 Ramos Photos, is like
oh my god,
historic, gargantuan,
It's
culture
insane.
changing album, like the best.
Well, so I was there in July, which was like it was like the beginning of the tour.
Yeah.
And the energy in the island was like electric because
Yeah.
it was the beginning of the tour for the residents who live in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
It was before the tours. And a lot of people did ask us, they're like, are you here like snagging tickets from locals? And we're like, no, we came
yeah.
because
I
we
hadn't
were.
even thought of that.
Yeah, so this is something that I'm going to tackle in the show, but there's a lot of tension between Puerto Ricans that are from the island,
Yes.
who live on the island, and those of us who live here in the States, because there are socioeconomic struggles between the
Yeah.
two, cultural divides. Like, it's purposeful the way the government has divided the communities.
Yes.
And I am hoping with the show to kind of bridge that. But I come up on that every time I show up. I am trying to be like, no, look, I might be from the States, but I am like here in liberation of Puerto Rico to love and care for this island and to respect you, those who are like here, because it is hard to live in Puerto Rico. And they were very excited in the summer. I feel like in the summer, people were like so jazzed about the tour
Yeah.
and about what was going on the island, because Bad Bunny did have like a lot of stuff for locals to be able to do. Like, he was not only like surging the economy, but he did like have all these events. Like, he did like an art gallery at the Museum of Fine Art, like of like this Adidas collection that he did of all these shoes he's designed for Adidas, like archival ones that have never seen the light of day. He like did this exhibit. He did like in the plaza at El Choli is like the concert hall in Puerto Rico that he performed at. But in the plaza, you didn't have to have tickets to go and experience stuff outside.
Wow.
So there was like food and drink and like gift bags and like photo ops. And so like you could enjoy the show if you couldn't get tickets to the show. And then they would give away tickets every night. Like, if you waited in line, like there were like a handful of tickets for those who weren't able to get them to get tickets. So he was doing a lot for the people of Puerto Rico, which is like, I don't think people realize, like, yes, it's capitalism. And yes, it looks good for him to be so for Puerto Rico. But I'm like, he really is doing that. Like, he is like for the culture. And he's outside. Like, one thing I've learned coming back and forth between Puerto Rico, what's the expression? Can you tell me? My partner's in the room.
Puerto Rico is a twin-size bed.
But how do you
Puerto
say it in
Rico.
Spanish?
Oh, Puerto Rico es una cama twin.
Puerto Rico es una cama twin,
Uh-huh.
which means everybody's in bed with everybody. I have like, and I'm
It's
not
Bad
in,
Bunny vibes.
exactly. I have not been in bed because I am loyally monogamous. But
And what did you say? You said Bad Bunny is out.
he's outside.
He's
Like,
outside.
people, everybody knows each other.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
what I've
yes.
learned going back and forth between Puerto Rico so many times this year is like it is a small island. Like,
Yeah.
it's powerful. There's like brujeria or something happening that like we're able to like amass such a following and like have community in so many places and like be such a loud voice in such a small place.
Yeah.
But everybody does know everybody. Like, it truly, I am like 1 degree separation from Bad Bunny on like multiple
Wow.
accounts. Like, my designer for the show, Art, which hopefully I'll be able to release this coming week. Well, obviously by the time this episode comes
Yes,
out, the
yes.
show art will be out. But I'm working with Nanette, who did the Choli residency art for Bad Bunny.
Wow.
My good friend, who's going to be the first episode of the show, Joel Melendez Barrio, and his wife, Aurora Santiago Ortiz, they worked with Bad Bunny to do the visualizers for his album.
And they're academics. And
They're academics.
Yes. So cool.
I am good friends with somebody whose cousin is like one of Bad Bunny's main directors, and now we're in contact, we're chatting. So it's like, it's crazy. Like, he really is for the people. I say all this to say, he's outside.
Yes.
He's outside in the community, networking with real Puerto Ricans and he is really doing the work. Like,
Well, the residency was like.
oh yes, to bring it back to that.
But I'm saying like it was practical in the sense that it was like there's fucking and there's a violent assault
Yeah.
on brown people
Yes.
in the mainland of America.
Yes.
I'm not touring there
Yeah.
and putting those people in danger.
Absolutely.
Come to me.
Yes.
Yep.
Like that.
And I feel like Puerto Rico is a safe haven for a lot of like migrants in the United States who can't go home.
Yeah.
Because it is a U.S. territory, so they can legally travel to Puerto Rico and experience like a Latin culture when they can't go back to their home countries because of their citizenship status or
Yep.
whatever. So I find that very beautiful that because it is like Puerto Rico, yes, they speak English there, but all the signs are going to be in Spanish in Puerto Rico. The locals do not want to talk to you in English. They will look at you with full disdain that you're not speaking to them in Spanish. And yeah, they are like, it is a fully Spanish speaking country. I don't think a lot of people understand that.
Yes,
I think they
yes.
think, well, it's like Hawaii. And it's like, well, that's why he had the song about Hawaii. Because
Right,
he's like,
right,
we
right.
don't want to be like Hawaii. We don't want to be a state and then end up with our culture being like American washed,
Yep.
you know? But to talk about the shows.
Yes.
You guys know I'm Beehive Down. You guys know.
Of course. But
I am-
you're about to say something.
Yeah.
I'm about to
sense.
say something crazy. It was better. It was
Wow.
better than Cowboy Carter. And y'all know I had pit seats for Cowboy Carter.
Of course.
No, I remember the lead up.
Yeah, I was in the nosebleeds of Debí Tirar Más Fotos, and I had a ball. It was the best concert I've seen in my life.
Wow.
It was so much fun. It was like the whole energy in the room. It was like a true party. And honestly, what was really beautiful about the show, everything was really cheap. Like the food and drink and everything, he did not mark up. They did not mark up for the locals.
Love.
Like they
That's
really
amazing.
kept it very affordable. Cause like what did we went to? Madison Square Garden to see Sabrina?
We saw Sabrina
We spent-
on Halloween.
Yeah, I
$50
got
on the beer, yeah,
2
whatever.
drinks.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 drinks, $50.
Terrible.
You know, I was able to get drinks for everybody. It was $50.
Yeah, we
you
were
know,
with
in my
Anna
party.
and
Yeah.
Fraser, and I think it was truly like between
25
the
a
4
pop.
of us,
Yeah.
it was
Wow.
like over. It was 3 figures.
Yes.
for drinks.
Yes, for drinks. It was crazy. Whereas like we were able to feed me, my mom. I also brought Anna to Puerto Rico for the show.
I remember that. You guys had a
Because we're a
fucking blast.
producing team.
Yeah, I love that you guys have become such friends.
Oh yeah, that's my bestie.
Yes, your girl.
That's my girl. But no, I took her with, and we had such a ball. I did get COVID. I did fully.
No,
I will
fuck.
say,
Fine.
I totally got COVID.
At
like
the concert.
absolutely. Like
Sure.
I was totally fine.
It's nice to
before.
get it somewhere memorable.
It
Yes.
was
Like I got it in Mexico City.
Yeah, it was bad.
For New Year's Eve.
Because I was like, there's no way this is the flu. It was like, because I had,
No, because you were
I
out.
was
down.
like 100+ fever. Like I was down.
down bad.
Yeah,
bad.
like we were at a restaurant and I was like, I don't think anybody believed me. I was like, I'm heading south right now. They're like, you haven't eaten all day, and I was like, because I am sick.
can't.
I can feel my body is like actively shutting down. My fever was so bad. I was like, because a lot of Puerto Rican homes are like concrete or tile. I was laying on the tile because I was so hot. Like I could feel myself sweating, and like nothing could break my fever. But it was worth it. It was Bad Bunny. It was worth it. It was worth it.
For you to sit in the nosebleeds, and because his show is so like it's the tone of it is so warm and inviting, and it's like a bath. He's like,
Yeah.
The fact that he can convey that to you like up in the nosebleeds and bring you in, that is, I mean, that he's such a perfect showman.
Well, it's such a cool venue because it reminds me a lot of Barclays Center. Not that it's easy to get in. I don't like going to Barclays Center. I do enjoy a show at Barclays Center because I do feel like there's not a bad seat at Barclays Center.
Agree.
And similarly, El Choli, it was like there was not really a bad seat, but it was very cool because he had 2 stages, right? Which I'm sure everybody knows this by now. But it was cool because where we sat, we were able to see both stages very well.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like I was like missing out on anything from being in the nosebleeds. Like we were able to see like the main like stage that looked like El Yonke, and then the house stage was the one that was like kind of in front of us, so we couldn't see the front of the house, but the cameras were facing, so like you could see it on the prompter.
Yep.
The house, so you weren't missing out on the house.
Sure.
We were there the day. What's the movie he was in with?
Happy Gilmore 2?
No, the other one. The caught stealing.
stealing.
We were there when the caught stealing people were there.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
It's like Austin Butler
Yes,
and like Zoe
Austin
Kravitz.
Butler,
Oh,
and he
fun.
looked so like he was. Obviously, he did all those interviews after being like, I was high on shit on an edible.
Right.
But he did like when you were actively watching it, you're like, oh my god, he's
the time
trying
of his life.
so hard to be cool. Like it like looked like he was like, yeah, I'm like cool.
He was just zonked.
But instead he was just zonked and probably
course.
like intimidated that he didn't speak any Spanish because like when the perreo started, it was great. The
Yeah.
way people were grinding in every aisle to the point my mom was like, y'all grind? And I was like, Carol D, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You are my mother. I am not like gonna perreo in front of you. This is not what I was taught growing up. At the end of the day, you raised me in the South. We didn't raise in Puerto Rico. All of a sudden her Boricua came out and I was like,
Love.
Orlando and I were like,
and you're like, okay, now you see your parent as they have been.
As
Yes.
they were all along.
I was like, oh, this is who you were. I was like, when you were without my
Wow.
dad,
Isn't that
this is crazy.
That's fun.
But yeah, it was.
Damn.
It was a time of my life. It truly was like such a like eye-opening and heartwarming trip. Because that trip also, we went to La Sala Libre, which was like this project done by myCultura, who's one of the first interviews I do for the show.
Yeah.
But he is part of this project called Diaspora Rico, which is bringing, or not bringing, but highlighting the stories of Diaspora Ricans, like those Puerto Ricans in the diaspora that are making a pilgrimage back to Puerto Rico and building a life in Puerto Rico, and kind of highlighting like the struggles, but also the beauty of like reclaiming the island and how difficult it can be because you can feel very rejected. Like I have
That's what you
definitely
were saying, like
felt very rejected.
Yeah, this tension
going.
between people who live there and people who don't. Yes,
But you
okay.
have to like kind of build a thick skin and kind of get over it and know you are building something for the greater good of Puerto Rico. I think when I had visited Puerto Rico younger, I was very intimidated by that. I felt very hurt. But now that I have more knowledge about why the people of Puerto Rico feel that way and like what I can do to be, it's almost like gentrification, right? It's like, how can I be of service to this community instead of like actively gentrifying it? And so I think you have to like with gentrification and people being upset with you about being in these neighborhoods, you have to like take it on the chin and then also be like, how can I actually help?
Yeah.
You know, like I have to live here or I have to be here or I want to be here. So how do I not be a parasite to this community? How do I be a part of the good in
Yes.
this community? And so I think I've become more comfortable in my skin and being Puerto Rican. I think if I ever nail down my Spanish, I'll no longer feel like an outsider, but my Spanish is still más o menos.
Yeah. Well, language is so interesting because I've gone through stages of this with the Mandarin of it all, and like
Do your parents speak English?
they do.
Yeah.
They are trying to like get me back on the path of like, let's just keep it to Mandarin between us
Yeah.
exclusively. And I gotta say, going to China this past summer, I was like, ooh, like this is like just the way, this is the means of communication literally, and of course that is the most important thing to preserve. It is also something that like is completely on your own pace because your brain is your brain.
Yeah. Well, you know what I found out as an
What?
adult? I'm super dyslexic.
Great.
Really?
Yes, and I have severe ADHD, which I'm sure maybe you guys knew. I didn't find this out until this year.
You've never represented yourself as being
Thank you.
out of control with your attention at
Well,
all.
Yes.
thank you so much because all my friends were like, girl, you didn't know? And I was like, no, I was never diagnosed
Whoa.
until this year.
Not the friends being at brunch being
they were
like,
all
Funny,
like-
I would never think of. I would never think of.
Quite
that.
literally every one of my friends was like, we thought you knew. And I was
wait
like,
a minute.
yeah. Yeah. But I'm also severely dyslexic, and I found out there is a correlation between like struggle with learning language and dyslexia.
Well-
because I've always struggled trying to learn Spanish. I have been taking Spanish classes since I was in 7th grade. I even during COVID went out of my way to pay for like a really expensive program, Spanish en Pena. I guess it's not that expensive, but it is like I spent my own hard-earned money to pay for a
Yeah.
class as an adult to try to learn Spanish, and I still like I understand it a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if people are speaking to me, I can pretty much pick up what you're saying.
Right.
But I totally freeze like communicating back.
This is what I did before this China trip was there's not an ad, Preply, where
Preply,
it's
okay.
just like one-on-one like
Yeah.
video lessons where these tutors are so good, at least you know the Mandarin ones, but I'm sure this applies
Yeah.
to all the languages. It's like they they will very gently guide you back to being like, so you just said this and you actually meant to say this. And then let me write that down in a document for you. And I'll
Okay,
send it
no,
out.
I
It's like
will
this
be
kind of
looking
thing.
this up.
Because
Yeah.
language is hard enough when you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
speaking
yeah.
your
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
And then I
It's
can't even
hard
spell
enough
in
to say
English.
the right thing.
Right.
I often say my words wrong. I didn't even figure out I was dyslexic till I was dating my partner. We were dating probably like a year or so, and I was like looking up somewhere we were going, and I was like reading a street sign. He's like, "That's not what that said at all." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Are you dyslexic?" And I was like, and then I got tested, and I was like, "Oh my god, I am," which honestly makes so much sense. I always struggled with like different things in academia. I was like always a really hard achieving student, but I think that was just like my own familial traumas and expectations of
that
me.
was a different
Yeah.
kind of pressure.
Exactly.
It was survival.
Exactly. So it was like I succeeded out of survival, but not without intense challenges. And I definitely had remembered flagging to many people being like, I am struggling. Like I always struggled with critical reads, even though English was my favorite class. And I like always was an amazing writer, but a reader, I was always struggling. And so many doctors, though, as a woman of color, I think as a child, they just like dismiss you. So they're
course.
like, yeah, but like, you'll figure it out. You have good grades. So like, there's nothing to worry about. But then in reality, it's like, it's now I'm looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, it was so prevalent, my issues.
There's like a fundamental thing. The other thing about language is it's this like raw opening, for people to like, assess how much of the culture you are part of.
That.
And it's so interesting because you understand it on some level, but it is the thing of like, I don't know, like.
Well, I think a lot of people hold on to the language because it is so attached to your culture. And so to look at you and you don't speak it, it's like almost to be like the privilege you have to not learn our language because you are in these other spaces and you're able to navigate these other spaces. And I think the not knowing English is like also attached to like not just your assimilation, but like your socioeconomic status, your ability to blend into these different circles they do not have the same privilege. So it's like I have much more empathy now to those who have given me a hard time. But I will say for many years, it was a deep rooted like pain of mine that I did not know. And something I like held against my parents for many, many, many years. But now with enough therapy and age, I'm like, they were doing their best, like I can't fault them for the choices they made to hopefully give me a better life. It was a conscious choice they made to not teach me Spanish, but it wasn't like out of malice, and I have to remember that.
Totally. It's like being a beneficiary of a system or a circumstance that you had no control over and that you did not design. Yeah. And all you can do is just have an understanding of like where it all comes from. And the fact that you're doing this podcast, going there, seeking out people who will be able to like fill in a shade of knowledge for you is like,
I mean, this podcast, I've had this idea for many years. Like I actually got my job at iHeart because of this podcast in a little like circumvent way. iHeart did this fellowship that our producer Anna created called Next Up about 4 years ago. I had seen it because I was a listener of the Daily Zeitgeist and heard an ad for it. And at that time, I was in advertising still. And I wanted to get out of advertising. It was COVID. I had these big dreams. I was like, I can't. I mean, it was radicalized by COVID. I was like, I cannot be selling ads for the rest of my life. This cannot be my
This isn't it
purpose.
for me.
Yeah. But I had worked on this podcast at the agency I worked at in Portland called Anchigos, and it was a woman of color travel platform podcast. And it was really fun. We had won an iHeart Award as an independent show, which was really cool. But I just was like looking back during COVID, all the things I enjoyed doing. And I was like, I liked doing that. I liked curating events in Portland. None of the things I enjoyed doing had to do with advertising. So I was like, how do I get to do those things? And I knew I had to be a producer of sorts. But then before all that, I hear the ad and I'm like, okay, I think I'll just pitch a podcast idea. And so I had two ideas. One of them, I'm like, LOL, that was such a stupid idea. But one of them was this Puerto Rico podcast. It didn't look the way it looks now, but it was like, a podcast about the history of Puerto Rico. That was like my soft pitch because the application didn't require you to do like a crazy pitch. It was like getting people who are not in the industry to be in the industry.
Sure.
And so I had applied and I didn't get it. And I was so
And
sad.
you didn't get the up
Don't
next?
worry. Don't worry.
Well, because what she had said, because I remember I was talking to
It
you
was for the
about.
better.
I'm pointing to, I don't know, but I had talked to you about Becca probably like 6 or 7 months ago, just about how amazing you are. And she was saying like that you were in the fellowship, but it became so clear that you were overqualified almost
Yes.
immediately.
Yes.
So then you became our producer.
Yes, because basically I had bullied Anna into hiring me because I was like, this
Yes.
is going to change my life.
Is
This
that what
is-
happened? Honest thing, no.
I was like, this is going to change my life. I was like, I know in my heart of hearts, like, this is going to change my life. I need to like figure this out. So I had applied, I didn't get it. I email Anna and I'm like, hey, like, why didn't I get it?
There was some
And-
mistake.
Yeah, I was like, please, I'll do anything. And then she was like, you're overqualified.
Oh, that's
And
why. But they don't
so-
tell you that when you don't get it.
No. and
See,
so-
that would be nice to know.
Anna had too many people. She had so many people to notify because then I helped out the next year and I was like, I see. But
Gotcha.
I was like, okay, well, if there's any way I can like work here, like this is what I dream. And so Anna and I just stayed in conversation for months. And finally she was like, I actually am hiring a part-time producer. Like that was the offer. They were like, well, I've been begging for help. They finally greenlit me to hire a part-time producer. And so I had submitted something to like be in contract, and then they were like, you know what, let's just hire you full time. And then I became y'all's producer.
And were we
So-
were we the first and only show you were
you
producing?
were. It was you and the Daily Zeitgeist, because I feel
Daily
like a lot of
Zeitgeist.
people, when you're hired on the LA team, you end up on the Daily Zeitgeist because it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
It's Jack's show, you know, the head of development, and it's I think a great intro show for anybody because it's daily.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you really are just like from the beginning having to like
Working,
be on it,
managing,
work it, figure out what's
producing.
going. There's all these moving pieces. So it was you guys, it was Daily Zeitgeist, and then I had hopped on a couple shows that like, you know, had 1 to 2 seasons. Like I did Blair Saki's show, which was like a lot of
we
fun.
love Blair.
I did.
Was this 2020?
2021?
One that
Yeah,
you came
December
on.
2021. I
Wow.
just
Because I
celebrated
remember
my 4 year.
we met you on Zoom.
We met on Zoom.
This was
met
the
on-
Zoom era. Do you remember your first episode of Lost Culture?
I don't remember the exact first episode, but one of was a virtual with Julio Torres.
Oh,
Yeah,
fab.
sure.
Yes, because
Great.
at that time his little what's it called location scout was scouting my apartment for Palomista.
Oh my God!
Stop, really?
Yes, you
Wow.
told.
Yes, because like I remember going downstairs one day and I see this little crumpled up note in like the cinder block that we used to prop the door open.
This is already very Julio Torres.
And I was like, and I clearly nobody else in my building gave a fuck about this like note, but I was so curious and I was like, what is this? And so I pull it out and it's like this typed out letter that's like, hello, I am working on a project for Julio Torres and we would love to use the second floor unit of this building. And I
this
text-
note will now weep and crumple away.
and it was like, please contact whatever. And mind you, I had like a really kind of like interesting landlord at that time. He was this older man who was like an ex-cop, and like it was a small building. It was like only 4 units, and he definitely like operated like a cop. You know, he was very
what
much.
neighborhood was this in?
What?
What neighborhood was this in?
Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And so it was like a black-owned building. It was like all black tenants, and so I think he like thought like, well, like I'm helping you guys out, you help me, but it was like very like con like between the two of us, this relationship that I was like, why do I feel like I'm like talking to my dad every time I talk to you, that I'm like gonna disappoint you and that you're mad at me all the time and I can't ask you for anything. It was very strange. And so I knew that he would not bite like doing this, but I texted the second floor because it wasn't my unit, I was on the 3rd floor. I texted the second floor guys because there were these 2 young guys who I think work in tech, and they were smoking so much weed. Our apartment smelled like weed all the time. But I texted him, I was like, yo, like they're gonna pay you to like run this unit. He was like, you should do it, like this is cool. And they never reached
They
out.
never
Work out.
Yeah, but I could tell that scene where like what my unit was supposed to be filmed for in the scene based on watching the movie. I was like, oh, this scene is in Bed-Stuy, and definitely this scene was meant to be my apartment or like my
Wow.
building.
Like what? Like where like he goes back to
was-
the apartment with like all of his roommates.
No, that is the scene with the guy who tries to hire Julio.
Oh yes,
Yes.
to clean his house.
Yeah, to clean his house. Yeah.
I see.
Yes.
To clean his house.
So yeah.
But
Incredible.
you're also a Los Spookies fan. Like you're
Oh,
a Julio
I'm
fan.
a Julio
You're a
fan.
Julio fan.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
so I was like so excited when I saw that, but I was like, it's not my unit. I can't really do it. And I was like, and my landlord is definitely not going to bite about this. So I was like, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. But I was like, in theory, this is very cool. It's a cool thing that happened to me. But
and for that to be one of your first episodes of Lost Coast.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh my God. And then the Julio, because I've been a fan of Julio for years. And before that, I just think he's such a fun and interesting. I love like the weird Latino community. I think he represents like the weirdos in the Latino community, which I love.
Yes.
Because I was like, I think when you are a misfit and wherever you grow up, you end up leaning in this emo world, which I was like a full emo, like Warped Tour going,
really
Hot Topic, like black eyeliner, Tumblr girl, straight bangs, like emo.
I want to meet that Becca. I want to meet emo Becca. I want to meet sorority Becca. I want to meet Portland Becca.
Yeah, you did have eras. You had eras tour.
Speaking of eras, we haven't even asked. We're just shooting the fucking breeze.
I know.
We got to ask you the question. Becca Ramos, what was the culture that made you say cultures for you?
Oh my God. Okay, I have two.
Okay.
Kind of leaning into the emo.
Okay.
They're both leaning into the emo, and I kind of just mentioned one of them. The first one is Twilight.
So, do you mean the books, the movies?
I mean everything.
All of it.
The whole franchise.
Stephanie Meyer was a
we were
queen
locked in
for you.
Yes.
Because I was never a Harry Potter.
All good.
My brother was big Harry Potter.
Yep.
Even my parents like read all the Harry Potter books.
It might be a slight generational thing.
Yes.
Micro.
But my brother and I are only a year and a half apart. I think though he was an early reader. My brother is he's very, very smart. My brother's like stupid smart, like math savant, like double majored in engineering and math. Like he is like, we're like this, like no Venn diagram, oil, water in terms of how our brains work. And so he was like an early reader, and he loved Harry Potter. And my parents started to read Harry Potter because they wanted to make sure that like the books were like okay for children, so they read them before, and then they fell in love with them. But I was like, I read the first book like 3 times. I was like, I can't get into it. Love the movies because it's cinema, but I couldn't get into the books.
Sure.
And now it doesn't even matter because she's disgraced. So I feel
we don't need her anymore.
I feel vindicated. Not that Stephanie Meyer's any better, but
is she also bad?
Well, she's just like deeply Mormon, and I think there's it's not as black and white.
Understood.
I think.
Got it.
Yeah.
Understood.
But
what was it about Twilight?
I think it is inherently pretty horny for a young girl.
Absolutely.
Got it.
You're reading it, and because I actually do y'all know that she wrote another book during COVID? Stephanie Meyer.
I think I had heard this, and it was not well received.
It was called Midnight Sun, and it is
Zara Larson. Wow.
It's a mirror. I know. It's a mirror of the first book, Twilight, but from Edward's perspective.
Oh.
And I, during COVID, because we were in lockdown in shambles, like conspiracy theories are happening on TikTok. People were like, why does Stephanie Meyer has a website up and a countdown? And sure enough, she was selling the book during COVID, and I pre-ordered it on Amazon just for shits and giggles. And then one day, 3 months later, it showed up at my door, and I was like, I didn't order anything. I forgot I had ordered the book. So I read it during COVID because I had all this time on my hands. And then I was transported to like 8 or 10, 12-year-old Becca, and I was like, I should not have been reading this, because it is like the power dynamics at play. It is like, as an adult with like a fully formed brain, you're like, no, it's like weird that this 100-year-old vampire is into like 17-year-old, Kristen Stewart, Bella Swan.
Right, like you've been manipulated by men older than you as well.
Yes, and so you're like, but like as a child who is like, at this time in my life, I'm so like, I'm boy crazy, right? Hormones are crazy, but also no one likes me. So I'm like, I'm hormone crazy. No one likes me. So I'm like reading this book, and it's like this deep love story where it's like you're convinced this control is love, right? So you're reading this like codependency, and you're like, it's so romantic. He's so enamored by her. Like he's just like her smell is so intoxicating. Like she can't be with anybody else. As a child, you're like, oh my God, that's romance. And as an adult, you're like, that's fear.
To be consumed actually sounds kind of good.
Yes. So I was like, and I think I also just like really love that fantasy realm. Like I've never been into like sci-fi, but like true fantasy, like the vampires, witch, like that was my lane. I liked that type of stuff.
Supernatural.
Supernatural. Yes. I
like supernatural. Your girl.
But yes, I loved all the supernatural stuff. And then the movies come out, right? And they're cult classic. I was at the premieres. Like I was Midnight
Really?
Girl, Team Edward.
Wow.
Like aggressive Team Edward. Maybe I just had a crush on Robert Pattinson.
People look back fondly on those movies now. Like even
They're
Robert
I
Pattinson
take a
recently said
rewatch.
he'd do a sequel.
I take a rewatch every fall.
Wow. Of all of them?
Of all of them, because it's fun, especially Twilight specifically, because
Yeah.
Twilight was an indie production, and it is a lot of
Yeah.
fun. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Remember those soundtracks? Alex Pizzavas, music supervisor from the OC, Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible
Flightless
soundtrack.
Bird,
soundtrack.
American Mouth.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
Absolutely
great
underrated.
song.
So good.
Underrated soundtrack. And like, mind you, this is also then connected with Hot Topic. Flood's Hot Topic. Because,
Yes.
Paramore's on the soundtrack.
Of course.
Wait,
You
is
know?
Hot Topic your second culture?
Well, no. Hot Topic
is
was
it-
just where Twilight lived.
You're,
but-
you're tying
yeah.
it back to the mall.
Yes, talk
rap.
about the mall
Becca,
rat
yeah, yeah.
culture,
Oh, yeah,
being
yeah.
emo. I think if you were like if you were Twilight heavy, you were also very emo. It was just kind of.
Yes.
And then my second culture,
Yeah.
Tumblr. And you were deep on the Tumblr edits. You were
So-
deep on the shirtless
Wow.
Edward.
Oh, yeah.
Bella, this is the skin
I
of a killer.
remember an image of him like walking out into daylight
yes.
that broke the internet.
Yes.
It was one of the first
Yeah.
examples I remember of the internet breaking. It was like a leaked image of Robert Pattinson with no shirt walking out of, I believe, like some sort of cathedral or
Yes.
church into the sunlight, and everyone was like, Can we breathe?
Yes.
I don't think anyone
Right,
can breathe.
right.
I couldn't breathe. I was obsessed.
You loved him. You were team
I was
Edward.
Team Edward down. I did not give a fuck about Taylor Lautner. I was
Yeah.
like, my friends were, I think, Team Jacob, but I was like, I'm Team Edward because like the romance was between Edward and Bella. Like if you're reading
Right.
the books,
Right.
the actual love story is between the two of them. So I think I was very romanced
It's big and
by
caring.
the love.
It would
Yeah.
it would be like being like, I like Gale in the Hunger Games. It's like we all know Katniss and Peter are gonna be like
Exactly.
having PTSD
Yes, yes.
together when they're old.
Exactly.
But when you say
Spoiler
Tumblr
alert.
culture,
Oh yeah.
do you agree with the following statement? Tumblr had monoculture, or do you agree with this statement, which is Tumblr was different lanes and we were all on our different, like was that the beginning of like the algorithm where it's like we all have our special corners of the internet?
Okay.
Or do you think it was all streamlined in one?
That is a hard question because I do think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think as Tumblr became more mainstream, it did become like there was a idea of what Tumblr culture is and
Yes.
Tumblr aesthetic.
Yep.
But I think at the beginning, if you were on in like 2010, like I was, then it was very silo, which it's almost like why I think gravitated to TikTok when TikTok kind of took off,
Yes.
because it was kind of feeding your algorithm. And same thing with Tumblr. It was like I was following these blogs that like were like these different fandoms that I enjoyed, and I was reposting.
Yep,
I was
yep.
reblogging those things, but I also was like writing on Tumblr. Like I was never
Right.
Tumblr famous, but I it was like a true outlet for me as a young kid. I am left-handed, so I'm not very good at writing. I was never taught properly to write. So, and I think my undiagnosed ADHD, I had a hard time pen to paper. My brain was moving faster than my hand could.
Yes.
So I would type. I would like write intense stories on Tumblr, like and more like biographical memoir, like journal entries. But like I was a journaler on Tumblr. I was
Wow.
writing, a heartbreak, like all these different things going on.
Do you
I
still
was,
have access to it?
Oh yeah.
You do.
Oh yeah. Only I think I've shared with one or two people my whole life.
Of course.
My Tumblr. Like I'm like
Do you know it? You've seen it?
he's
Okay.
he's special
seen
enough.
it?
But it took years in us dating for me to give it to him. Like years.
Beautiful.
I told him I was like, you
That's
can't.
opening your heart.
Yeah,
when
I
you
was-
open your Tumblr, you open your heart. That's real culture number 30. When you open your Tumblr,
Tumblr,
you open your heart.
No, it was because like it is like 14-year-old me sobbing on the keyboard about like
Well,
my
yes.
first love. You know, like it is like intense the things I would write on there. But yeah,
But
and fan fiction on Tumblr.
and fan fiction on Tumblr.
Right.
But reposting it is like the key thing on Tumblr that I think, or resharing. What was it called?
Reblogging.
Reblogging. That's what
Yeah.
it was. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's just all the same shit. They all the tech companies remade the same terms over.
They
and
are
over.
re-reing.
They're
They're rereading the
The
repost, the
re-read.
reblog, the retweet.
But reblogging was interesting because what set Tumblr apart from, I want to say, like Blogger
Yeah,
or like
like
let's just-
MySpace
or let's throw it all the way back to fucking Zanga.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's a way to like proliferate what one person puts out there, whether it's an image,
Yeah.
meme, video, anything.
Yeah.
Like Tumblr kind of like gave the right like delivery system for like what would come in like TikTok and then regressively somehow Instagram, how Instagram became like Snapchat.
Yeah, because now also, but Instagram now you have the carousels that are like doing the screenshots, which are basically the reblogs. Literally, some of them are screenshots of reblogs on Tumblr. Because on Tumblr, I think the beauty of it, other than like other forums, was like when you reblogged, you could like add your own little clip to it, and then that goes viral.
The
and
notes
then it's
and all that.
all the notes. It's like, oh my god, you got 80,000 notes. Like Jesus, crazy. But never me. No, I was never famous.
How hard did you pop off?
Honestly, I was like, I kept that shit to myself. I liked Tumblr. I think in the way that I enjoyed TikTok for a while, that it was very like I could hide behind it.
Sure.
Like people didn't know my Tumblr. Like it was like my Tumblr wasn't your profile. It wasn't your face. It was like, you know, whatever my Tumblr URL was, and like whatever I wanted. I could be whoever I wanted in this blog space. So I liked the anonymity of it. And that's how I viewed TikTok for me, because I wasn't following people back or anything. I was just reposting whatever in my own feed, and I liked the anonymity of like I could have content without following anybody. I could just like be fed things that I enjoyed, and like no one needs to know that I'm on TikTok. Similar to the way I was on Tumblr.
But I guess me asking those two separate questions earlier is like my thought is like,
oh yes,
Tumblr feels so romantic because it's like TikTok is purely,
I mean, a mess.
It's a mess, and it's cool, but it's also like completely individualized in the algorithm, and sometimes there's moments of like
there's not a lot of community on TikTok, where there is community, or was on Tumblr. But I think with Tumblr that was also really interesting is you have these monocultures where it's like the Lana Del Rey's, the skinny, like the red pill skinniness of Tumblr, like where you were like being fed to be like thigh gap culture and like all these things. If you were a girl on Tumblr, it was like, depending on what side of Tumblr you were on, really rough. Like, because
thigh gap started on Tumblr.
100%. And I was like, luckily, I mean, now I am a very curvaceous woman, and I am proud of that. But I wasn't growing up, and I was naturally very like tiny, like I was very skinny, so I didn't fall susceptible into the skinny culture, but because I was already luckily a beneficiary of it. And I do think if I was the size that I am now, then I would have been wrecked. But that was Tumblr culture, like the dancing, the skinny girl, the ballet. Like the goal was to be as like slender and emo and like cigarette. Like I wanted to smoke a cigarette so bad because of Tumblr, but I like, to my deep anxieties, I was like, I can never pick one up.
being the kind of person that you were in high school, because your parents could never have found out you smoked a cigarette.
No, I'd be murdered.
That would be the worst thing in the world.
But I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be like Lana Del Rey cigarette smoking girl.
Are you a Lana girly?
Oh yeah. I was a Lana girly, absolutely, like that. But I feel like I was Lana a little bit after the mark, because I was so emo for so long on Tumblr. Like I was like deep Paramore. I was like in these bands that like were touring Warped Tour, like Mayday Parade, and like I don't even know other like Black Parade, My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, Reliant K. Like that was my world.
Were
for
you
a while.
aware of Katy Perry when she was on Warped Tour?
I went to Warped Tour when Katy Perry was at Warped Tour. That was a lot of fun. And then she like, she was with 303.
Yeah, she was. Her whole first album, not first album, because the first album was the Christian one under Katie Hudson.
Yes.
But then the first album is like
one of the boys.
I was there. What's the other ones? Cobra Starship.
Cobra Starship. Is that Good Girls Gone Bad with Leighton Meester?
I was going to say Leighton Meester.
Wow.
No, that was me for a long time, and then I probably hit the Lana streak when I got to college.
So what is that like? Nice. Ultraviolence era?
Yeah. Like
Ultraviolence.
What is it? Cherry Cola.
Yeah.
My pussy tastes like Pepsi Cola. My eyes are wide like cherry pie.
Love that. I saw her at Austin City Limits.
Austin City Limits.
Because I was an ACL girl for all of college. Because like if you're in college, I think it's a rite of passage. If you are a college student in Texas, you have to go to ACL.
So when we discovered Lana Del Rey on this podcast, you probably were in the corner like, Jesus fucking Christ. I
was on some random dude's shoulder because my boyfriend at the time abandoned me to go to a Texas Baylor football game. Different boyfriend, by the way. But I literally, we bought tickets to ACL together as a unit, me, him, and his roommate. And they were like, Becca, we gotta go to the college football game. And I was like, we're here for ACL. And they're like, well, we're just gonna go to the game and then we'll meet you later. Of course, there's no service. It's like a different era of phones and like connectivity.
Totally.
I phone dead, couldn't access anybody, didn't know how I was gonna end up, where I was gonna end up. And so I was just like, well, I can't have anxiety about this now. I'm just gonna go to Lana Del Rey. I run there. Some man who flew in to ACL because he was like a festival junkie. He had all these festival wristbands. He saw me standing there in my little 5'2" ass, couldn't see shit. He was like, do you wanna get on my shoulders? And I was like, yeah. So I saw Lana Del Rey on some random, I think, British man's shoulders who was kind enough to let me see the show.
And that man was Robert Pattinson.
And if only it was Robert Pattinson. That's a dream. A girl can dream.
And I bet you that this fucking guy and all of his friends couldn't tell you a single thing now about what that fucking game was.
No.
Like, it's
absolutely.
You're not gonna, don't ditch ACL for a game.
Yeah.
I mean, so the podcast comes out February 3rd.
Podcast comes out February 3rd.
February 3rd is the day. And so, like, how many episodes do you have? Like, where are you at with it?
Right
this
now,
it's a big deal.
This is a big deal. I mean, like I had said, this idea came into fruition in summer 2021, and I had put it away for a long time. And then as I became a better producer and I felt really confident in like my skills, I was like, okay, I think it's time for me to like redevelop this idea. And I did, and I pitched for a long time, and now we're here. And obviously now 4 years in the making is incredible, but February 3rd, I already have 4 episodes done. The first episode is going to be narrative. It's going to be very vulnerable. It's going to be me telling my story. Why am I making the show? Biographical. But from there, it's going to be talk show. So I have 3 talk show episodes recorded in Puerto Rico. It was very important to me to come back all the way to that question, to record the first few episodes in Puerto Rico, because I want the listeners to understand this is a diasporic experience, and that I think as a New Yorican, as someone who is Puerto Rican, lives in New York, it's very easy when you say you're doing a show about Puerto Rico that people assume it's about New Yoricans and New York Puerto Rican culture, because New York is such an important piece of Puerto Rico. But I wanted this to be a bridging of the diaspora. So I wanted it to be intentional, to be shot partially in Puerto Rico, to show that like I am coming there. I want to bridge this gap. I want people to know that this is what it's about. And I interviewed Jorel Melendez-Barrio and Santiago Ortiz. They're both professors, authors, incredible folk to talk to. We talk about a little bit about the history, the connection of the states and of the island. And then also we get a little bit into the connection between Puerto Rico and Venezuela. I know that's hot topic right now. We're not going to get into that on this podcast, but there is
this one.
But I do
it.
I do think
it's gonna go
Well,
great.
this is when I wanted to start talking about it. Yeah.
No, but it's even outside of like the current events of it all, there is historically a strong connection between Venezuela and Puerto Rico. And Jorel is a historian. I wanted him to talk about that because I was like, it's so relevant right now. Like, people need to know. I didn't know. And then the second episode is with Ali Marie Figuera, and she is a writer, like a culture writer, but she has lived in the diaspora she went to grad school here at NYU, and I think somewhere in Boston, or no, not at NYU, but she went to grad school in New York, I think upstate, and then also in Boston, and now lives in Puerto Rico. She's doing a boozy book club in Puerto Rico where she's trying to like build community on the island, and she's also just so smart. She's so funny. She taught me about this socialist college in Puerto Rico that I had no idea existed. It's like one of the only publicly funded universities or schools, because I think she went there from like middle school through college. It's one of the only publicly funded schools in Puerto Rico, and it's also the only socialist school. So it's like one of the only schools that talks about liberation of Puerto Rico.
That's amazing.
Like history of Puerto Rico. A lot of the schools stateside and in Puerto Rico do not talk about Puerto Rican history. And that's purposeful, because the less we know, the less angry we are for the freedom and liberation of Puerto Rico. So Ali Marie was great. And then I talked about I talked to Mikey Cordero, which I already talked to you guys about, and all the amazing, incredible activism work he's been doing. But he's also from Bushwick originally. So he's like kind of like slowly throughout his life rebuilt this connection with the island. Like, he grew up spending summers in Puerto Rico, and then eventually he like became a part of this giant activist artist group in college, and then just stayed in Puerto Rico, and like, well, slowly was, I think, spending more time split between New York and Puerto Rico. Now he lives fully in Puerto Rico. But yeah,
That's amazing. I mean, these are also just like 360 narratives on diasporic experiences like within the Puerto Rican community, where it's like it comes just radially from all angles and it just converges back very beautifully, like on the island where you got to talk to them.
Yes, and what I really wanted to do with the show, I wanted to show that like kind of filled a gap I needed growing up, where I felt very, even though I was fully Puerto Rican, I never had a question about being Puerto Rican because I had 2 Puerto Rican parents. But I think just being somewhere where there is no Puerto Rican culture, I did feel very removed. I felt almost like I think a lot of mixed race kids feel, where you're like, I'm neither this nor this.
Yes.
Like I'm living here, but like I'm clearly othered by everyone around me, but I also don't feel like Puerto Rican enough. And so selfishly, I like built this podcast to meet really dope Puerto Ricans doing really incredible shit for the island, for the community, for the liberation of Puerto Rico, and just like highlighting what they're doing and like the incredible art they're making. And yeah, and then I get into like their Barrio stories, which are like moments that they felt like they really connected with their identity. Like the first time they recognized they were really Puerto Rican. I feel like one of the examples I have is like, I was asked to be in this quince when I was 15 by this person who was Dominican. We were not friends. Like she was a classmate of mine and we both knew we were like Latino, but we weren't really friends.
This is in Texas?
This is in Texas. And so she was like, I want you to be my quince, because she didn't have enough people for her quince. But then like in joining her quince, I got increasingly bullied for not being Puerto Rican enough. And I'm like, you asked me to be here because you needed more bodies, and now your whole family's gonna bully me for not being Puerto Rican enough. So then we're in the hair salon getting our hair done for these quince photos, which, mind you, being a part of quince is like being in a wedding, and I did not know that because this was my first quince. And so then I was like, okay, now all of a sudden my parents are mad that we're spending all this money to be in this woman's quince that we don't really know, this family that we don't know. And I'm texting my mom because these women are ferociously bullying me, 14, and in Spanish also. And I recognized it because my mom also chose to speak in Spanish when she didn't want me to know something. So I was like, the tone I'm hearing is making fun of Becca. So I'm texting my mom, like holding back tears, like everyone's making fun of me, and I know because I don't speak Spanish. And then she comes, she's like, where are you? And so she comes barreling in, and she's like, nobody will make fun of my child for not being Puerto Rican enough, for not speaking Spanish. And she's yelling at everybody in Spanish. Or I think she started yelling at everybody in English, and she's like, and I can yell at everybody in Spanish because I speak both languages.
Wow.
And so then she started yelling at everybody in Spanish, and then she pulled my little ass out of there. And then she looked at me later and was like, you don't have to do this. If you don't want to be in this quince, you don't have to be in this quince. And so then I didn't. I went to Warped Tour.
And saw Miss Kate
and I
Hudson.
probably did see Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
But yeah, that was like a moment where it was like, okay, being Puerto Rican was like very important for this story. And so I wanted to hear more stories from other Puerto Ricans of the diaspora that were like, what was a moment that was, whether it was silly or serious or whatever, that really rooted you in your identity and made you like the Boricua you are today. And then and then they give me recommendations of other art and cool shit that Puerto Ricans are doing. I ask at the end of every episode, I like want to hear from them, like, who do you think is really cool? Like, give me a recommendation of like a book you're reading, an artist you're listening to, an exhibit you're going to, so that the listeners can also like find this other stuff. And also, I guess before that, there's a chisme corner called Que Bon Chinche, where I just asked them to bring in a little bit of like chisme, whether it's serious or not. That's how we kind of talked about Venezuela, because when we recorded that, I had just landed right after they had closed the airways of Puerto Rico. They had closed for 24 hours, you know, because of everything that happened. And so I was like, well, the perfect person to have on to kind of talk about this. And so we talked about it a little bit. One of the guests we had talked about, her chisme was actually like her piece. She was like, I'm not in the chisme, and that's actually my chisme, which was like a really interesting take. And then we, on one of the episodes, talked about Romeo Santos on that New York Times podcast. And I won't get into it here because I get into it plenty over there. But yeah, so it can be as like serious as Venezuela or as silly as like you're protecting your peace and you're like, I'm not going to be in the mix because at the end of the day, Puerto Ricans is who inside bed. So you got to be careful.
There's enough drama.
There's enough drama.
When a comma twin, that's how, that's,
Yeah.
I love it.
No,
Like,
and it's like I started like when I found out that expression.
Yep.
I started asking everybody I saw that week, and
Yep.
they're like, "Oh yeah,
And you're like, so who have you? And they're like, Todos.
it really is."
We're
Wow.
proud of you.
So proud
This
of you,
is
Becca.
so cool.
Fuck
Thank
yeah.
you.
This is awesome.
I mean, it's so validating to like hear that from you guys, kings of podcasting.
We love you.
And also to be here, to be given this seat to talk to you guys is like, I couldn't be more grateful. Honestly, like I big brained it, was like, I can only do this when I feel, as the perfectionist I am, I was like, I must wait till the perfect time to release this podcast. And I do feel like now more than ever, even though this podcast has been in my mind for 4 years, Bad Bunny really did like put Puerto Rico on the map in this way that kind of gave a lot of opportunity to the people I'm interviewing to be the platforms they are. Because like a lot of the people I'm interviewing have been doing this work.
Yes,
and because of Bad Bunny, they now have a new platform to like hightail their work to the world. And I'm so excited to be a part of that movement, to be a part of those conversations. And selfishly, I'm like just really grateful to be making, you know, a lot of new friends and like meeting Puerto Ricans, and they're making me feel at home. They're making me feel like I have this extended family, because I didn't grow up with a huge extended family. We were pretty removed from my extended family. So it's been like really beautiful to build this like new kind of family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. Congrats on like
we
doing
can't
this thing. And it's also like you're gonna enjoy every second of it because it is your interest. It's
Yeah.
your culture. It's like it's just perfect.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for you guys to listen.
I know.
We
Can't
can't wait to listen.
It's
And
happening.
it's coming February 3rd.
February 3rd, baby. But you can watch the trailer and listen to it out now.
Listen to you. You're already doing this. Like you're ready.
Well, you know what's funny?
It's almost like
is
you've been
that
producing.
it's almost like I've been behind the scenes for years. But no, you can ask my partner who helped produce the episodes we did in Puerto Rico, because we couldn't book a studio space because everyone was on vacation. Because if you know anything about Puerto Rican Christmas, it's the longest Christmas of any country.
a month long.
It's like a month long, and I did not take that into account when I went to Puerto Rico to try to capture some content, because I had never visited Puerto Rico during the winter. And I was like, no, everyone's truly like checked the fuck
Yeah,
out.
it's
They
yeah.
are like not doing anything. So my gracious partner, who is a video editor and producer by trade, set up our whole setup in like 2 different Airbnbs for us to record these episodes and make them happen. They're not going to be fully on YouTube, but they are going to be clips and all that stuff. But that first episode, I was so nervous, y'all. Like there's
Yeah,
going to be
I
a
get
lot
it.
of editing in that first episode, because I was like, bleh. But
we all do it. We all edit.
We all do it.
we gotta edit.
Listen.
But I feel much better now. Now I'm here.
Now you're here. Like the hard part's over. You
hard part's
started
over.
it.
I
This is
started
4
it.
years
Good
in
for
the
you.
making, Becca.
So,
Fuck yeah.
And
But I'll still be
you're
here, guys.
listening.
You're still here.
And she'll still be here.
I will still be producer Becca of Las Culturistas. I'm not letting that go.
No.
So
One of the things characteristic of Las Culturistas episode is, of course, I Don't Think So, Honey. So this will be your first I Don't Think So, Honey.
this will be my first I Don't Think So, Honey.
So let's just like, if you forgot for some reason, we'll demo it.
Of
It's
course.
a 60-second segment in which I Don't Think So, Honey gets said, and it gets meant.
Yes.
About something in culture. And I got something because, you know, we got to get into it.
We got to get into it.
Okay.
This is Matt Rogers. I don't think so. Honey's time starts now.
I don't think so, honey, that the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the world is at Six Flags Qiddiya City in Saudi Arabia. So I'm not going there. I'm not
Qiddiya
going
City.
there to go do that, and that's a shame because I am interested in it. It is over 600 feet tall. It is 155 miles per hour.
Oh my God.
The layout of the roller coaster actually goes into the natural cliffs
Yes,
in
I've
the
seen the
region.
video.
You have to go online and just low key incognito mode if you really don't want to
30
support.
seconds.
But just take the POV of it and watch people doing it. It's fucking insane, and it's in Saudi Arabia. So I'm not one of those people that's gonna be like shoulder shrug, let's go. I ain't going. But I will say
15 seconds.
it looks like quite the ride, and I don't think they're going to be able to one up it. Because I don't, it is a bespoke coaster built into the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, you know, if that's for you, go off. It's not for me. I'm watching from home, and I'm disappointed about it because I would like to rocket ship off, blast off Warp Tour.
Into a cliff. That's 1 minute.
Have you seen it?
I've seen
has
it.
it won a Guinness Book of World Records?
It doesn't. It's not even it's
Yeah.
clear
It's
away.
far and away. It looks crazy.
I have to look this up now.
It's completely absurd.
I'm just afraid of heights to go that far.
Of course.
But, yeah.
This is my thing with coasters, though. It's like, we're plateauing. Once you hit a certain threshold of like speed, heights, drops, whatever, it's like it's basically the same as Velocicoaster.
Well,
you know
so
what I mean?
so then what happens is what you need to do is you need like your bespoke elements in order to make these things extra special. In this case, it is a bespoke element in the landscape in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So we can't be going there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
But I would say, like, I don't know. I guess I look to like the Alps now.
Yes.
They
look to the
must build a
Alps.
coaster.
You take
into
the Yeti
Alps.
ride at Disney.
You sure
You're
do.
just as
Yes.
close.
Expedition Everest,
Expedition Everest.
It is just it is a faint whisper.
Still will never understand fear of horror movies, love of roller coasters. One is
in
clearly
a
more
real
scary.
way. I don't know. Like I think sometimes it's just the idea that I'd be trapped in a room watching something so I can't move.
What about the idea that you were
Interesting.
on a speeding vehicle that people sometimes die on?
But I
There's
think
a whole
I think,
movie
I
about
think
it,
what's-
actually.
I think
Many.
what's scarier would be being in that country.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just people are afraid of roller coasters, understandably, because something is happening to them
Yeah,
physically.
like I can't do
Can
the
I tell you
Superman.
something?
Yeah,
We're more
yeah.
likely to die right here, right now, than on a roller coaster.
From
From anything.
No.
Because I
don't know
on a
about
roller
that.
coaster I am protected. On a roller coaster it has actually been battle tested. These things are like you know that in order for a roller coaster to run, it has to do something like 1,000 continuous hours without
incident.
And so it's like how
But
they
is
say
that-
like when you're on a plane you're actually safer than you are in a car, because this is something that has been proven, tested, and
Over and
more
over and over and over
to
again.
be safe. Otherwise, it would be crazy to let it
Yeah, yeah,
run
yeah.
or put it into action. So you are safer on the Velocicoaster than you are walking the streets
But
of
is
New
that
York.
like
Don't we
new
know?
regulations? Because I feel like growing up, being in Astroworld and Waterworld,
Sure.
they were definitely not safe
Yeah, yeah,
at all.
yeah.
I mean, Astroworld got torn
Well,
down.
yes, I think that what was it? Welcome to there was an HBO Max documentary a couple years ago about a particular water park, which was like known for like
Oh,
if
yes.
you want to
I know
get
what you're-
hurt, come
yes,
here.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't remember where it is, but yes.
Action Park.
Action
Action
Park.
Park.
Action Park. Thank
Yes.
you. So basically, it's Action Park, and it's kind of an interesting documentary because
Yeah.
it's just like bodily injury was almost a surety.
Yeah, it was a day to day.
yeah.
But that's not how it is at these big ones.
I bring this up to sort of synthesize all of this and say, I don't know of people who've died from watching a horror movie, and I think you're
so
safer
right.
watching a horror movie
You're
than
so
you
You
are
got me
right.
there. You
know
got
what
me
I
there
mean?
for sure.
So
This is
it'll
why
be okay.
dialogue is so important.
Yes.
Because you got me there.
Yeah.
But I will say I do feel like I'm gonna die more when I'm watching Welcome to Derry
Okay, I have
than
not
I
watched
am
Welcome to Derry
on the
yet.
Velocicoaster.
Yeah.
So all my friends decided that to put on Welcome to Derry the other day, and I was like, okay, well, you want to do this more than hang out with me then, because I am leaving. And they were like, okay, see ya.
And they're like, yeah, we do,
And I was
actually.
like, all right, fair. It was Steve and Dave and Jared, and I was just like, you guys really picked the
Aw.
show over me. They were like, yeah, we want to watch it. I was like, okay, I guess I'm abnormal here because I will have a heart attack watching this. I will see myself out. And I think I went home and watched like, I don't know. Maybe I tried to watch Beverly Hills this season and was like, this is boring.
It's rough.
Every opportunity like this is an invitation to enjoy the genre. Weapons doing well at awards.
Weapons was really great.
is
I
an
didn't-
invitation to enjoy the genre.
Well, I told you I did watch it by force because the person in front of me on the plane was watching.
you didn't watch it. You didn't hear the sounds.
I-
Yeah, you didn't hear the sound.
see, and that makes me feel like the sounds are like.
No,
so-
the soundtrack was really.
the soundtrack is great. No, there's just one
I've
moment
heard
where
the soundtrack is great.
one moment where the sounds are terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what is it? The face stab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
not even the face stabbing. Not even Whitmer
Oh,
Thomas.
I know the
Something
other
else.
thing you're talking
Something
about. And
else,
it's
right?
just like
Yeah.
I just can't.
I mean, Hereditary still haunts me.
Little
I
Diva head come off.
Little Diva head come off.
fucking love that movie.
Like,
You actually can get your Little Diva head come off merch on the store. It is an evergreen item. And
Until
it is-
A24 sues us.
Yeah, right. Which at this point,
Why not? Come.
are you ready?
I'm ready. This is gonna upset people in this room.
Okay.
Multiple people in this
Shoot.
room.
This is Bowen.
They'll,
Yang's-
or they'll feel validated.
oh god,
can only go one or two ways.
Yeah.
This is Bowen Yang's I Don't Think So, Honey. His time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Dachshunds. How can you be so cute and so damn loud so damn loud at the same time. It's such a fucking raw deal, isn't it? That the cutest dog breed there is, in my opinion, is also so easily angered, so damn cute, and yet so fucking loud that I would go crazy and go into psychosis.
30 seconds.
There was a beautiful dachshund named Nut that I knew in college.
Oh, Nut.
G-N-U-T, Nut. So cute. And then I realized, oh, he's crazy. Chicha, she's the most beautiful dog I've ever met.
Chicha's a legend and
Chicha's
more.
a legend. I don't find Chicha to be
15 seconds.
that. Chicha
No,
has
she's bad.
Chicha's very well behaved. And yeah, you guys as the owners know something besides me.
Everyone in the room
This
is
is the
5 seconds. She's a bad legend.
torturous tension of dachshunds is that they're so adorable, but fuck are they loud and so tough. The scream just really hits you primally. You're like, that needs to stop.
No,
That's
okay,
one
I'm not
minute.
upset with you because you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of getting a dachshund, and now it's become my personality. But if you ask my partner, he doesn't forget to remind me every day that we made a bad choice with love.
Sorry, you guys.
We love Chicha. She is our tyrant. She is our overlord.
Yeah.
She runs the house, and she has a lot of rules.
What'd you do today? What are the rules?
She doesn't like it when one of us is traveling, or if we travel at all and we drop her off at daycare. She hates daycare. And she makes everyone at daycare hold her the entire time because she doesn't like to play with the other dogs because they're beneath her. And
Oh my God.
she also just like think is sad, and she's like, I need someone to cuddle with me 24/7. If I'm doing my makeup for too long, like today, she will start circling me and then barking at me because I'm not sitting. She can't sit in my lap.
She's like, you're already beautiful.
Yeah, she's like, you're already beautiful and you're taking up my time, which
Yeah.
is for my lap. So she doesn't like it when I'm spending too much time getting ready. She doesn't like it when it's too loud. So like at daycare, they sent me a video of her barking at all the other dogs for playing too loud, like they were doing too much. She doesn't like it when either of us travel. She'll be like a real like bad dog when one of us is gone. Like she'll just start acting out, like barking like crazy, being very reactive.
She's a bad legend.
Yeah, she's a bad
She's a
legend.
bad
And then
legend.
famously lately, the crazier thing, because now I have 2 dachshunds. One of them
That's right.
is good. He, for the most part, he's a full size standard wire hair. His name's Jack, and we
I
adopted him.
hoped its name was Chicho.
I know. We only kept his name because it seemed like he really responded to his
Yeah, yeah.
name.
Sure.
Because we got him as a puppy. Like he was like 8 months when we
You
found
can't
him.
change the name on the
Yeah,
dog.
I was like, it seems like he really learned Jack. So I was like,
yeah.
okay, we have Jack and we have Chicha. But I will say behaviorally, the full size are much better
Okay.
than the minis. The minis are the bad
Minis are
dogs.
so cute.
But they're so cute. But Jack is a little bit more dense than Chicha. Chicha's so smart.
I don't need
And-
him to be smart.
Well, I was going to say they fight over this one bone often. And Chicha's now gotten so smart. Well, she'll like rile Jack up and act like someone's at the door and start like barking like, oh my God, someone's at the door.
She's
and so then Jack will be
manipulative.
like, oh my God, someone's at the door. And he'll start running to the door. And then Chicha will turn around. Like she'll like run with him to act like, oh yeah, we're chasing the door. And then she'll turn around and swoop the bone.
Chicha for Trader season 5.
Yeah, no, she would be a perfect
She'd be an amazing
addition
trader.
to Traders because she
Oh,
is
she would be jamming out
She
with
is
Lisa
so
Rinna
smart.
and Candace right now. She would have big plans.
She's so
And Rob.
manipulative because Jack, he just wants to do good. He just wants to be loved. He just wants to be pet. And he's a little demanding for sure.
Doesn't seem like a German dog.
Right?
It's just so like.
And Chicha's particularly loud. You're not wrong. Like specifically, I've been told by many people like for a dachshund, Chicha is loud. And people think because her bark isn't just loud, but she has like a big girl bark. Like behind the door, people will open up and they'll be like, what the fuck? Like that's
This-
what was
yeah.
barking? Like we thought a big dog was there. And it's
thought
just
that
like
was
a little
a Great
14
Dane.
pound,
Yeah.
3 inches off the ground, big pawed little thing.
She's Sabrina Carpenter. She's Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Little package, big
Yes,
voice.
exactly.
legend.
So you're
Little
not wrong,
legend.
Bowen. I respect your choice.
Thank
Well,
you.
we know that Chicha is I don't think so honeying all the time.
She absolutely. She's never letting me not know what's going on.
It's time for you to I don't think so honey.
Oh my
This
God,
is a
I'm like-
moment in time. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm nervous. I don't know
Don't
why,
be.
but I'm ready. Okay.
This is Becca Ramos' I don't think so honey. Her time starts now.
I don't think so. New York City apartment hunting. Okay.
Oh.
I have lived in this city for 6 years, and I don't know if the the landlords are scared of Mondami and they're making it harder for you to get an apartment. But I have never in my life had such a hard time finding an apartment than I am this year in 2026. I've already applied for 2 apartments and been declined. One of them said my guarantor didn't make 100 times the rent, which is
100?
crazy.
That's what the
And then
figure is,
the second one, they were like, you have 2 dogs. Absolutely not. After I had put a deposit down, which meant
30
they should
seconds.
not have shown that
What?
apartment
Yes,
to
that
anybody
feels-
else. They considered other people and let it go. And they told me I was a perfect candidate. One apartment told me that I was approved and then declined. Like, it is insane out here. It's also crazy that like it's expected that in 1 month you're supposed to find an apartment, move, pack your shit, and like whatever.
It's hell.
It's crazy because other place, they know, the landlords know
5
3 months in
seconds.
advance that you are leaving that place. So they should put the market 3 months in advance. That's
And
why I don't think
that's
so.
One
that's 1
minute.
minute.
You're overqualified.
I'm
That's why.
overqualified,
I
and they're
can't believe
mad.
they took a deposit and then
2 places have taken a deposit
and they
from
didn't
me
give it
and
back?
declined the apartment. They did give the deposit
I was-
back.
I was
but
gonna say.
the second one, they're being a little shady about it. But luckily, I put on my credit card so I can like cancel
Yes,
the
yes,
payment.
yes.
That's
But,
unreal.
Yeah, it's like, and all these landlords are trying to be, or maybe not landlords, but the realtors are trying to be like, yeah, this is no fee. Isn't that great? And I'm like, no, that's the law now.
That's the
like,
law.
Don't make me
Thanks,
feel like you're
Chiose.
doing me
Yeah.
a favor that it's no, like, it was insane. It was inhumane beforehand that I had to have 3 times the rent just to put down on this apartment. Don't act like you're doing me a favor now that I don't have to do that, but then you're also not giving me apartments.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It's absolute fucking hell.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry this is
So-
what you're going through.
I will find a place, but
Yes, you will.
it's insane because I have lived in Texas in an apartment and I've lived in Portland, Oregon in an apartment. And obviously, I'm not even balking about the price point. Those are different cities. We live in New York. We live in a New York price point. I don't even care about that.
Yeah.
It's like
The
I
process.
could find an apartment, like sign a lease 3 months before my lease was over, you know? Because it's like you have to tell the landlord, hey, I'm moving 90 days in advance. And they're like, okay, cool. Assuming that they do with that information is put it on the market. No,
Nope.
they won't put they know which apartments are going to be available in 3 months, and yet they will not release them until the month before. And it's crazy.
It is crazy and
Because it's
more.
like, how is it expected that I'm supposed to hopefully find an apartment by January 1st to move in on February 1st? Like, in that month, you have to then pack your stuff, get rid of stuff, move.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But you know what? As a result of this, I don't think so, honey. You're getting a mansion.
Someone give me an apartment, please,
We're
in
moving-
Brooklyn.
We're moving you in on Bedford Avenue in the West Village.
Oh, that'd be gorge.
Wait, right? Isn't that a good street?
Bedford?
In the West Village, yes.
In the
Not in Williamsburg, but in the West
No, yeah,
Village.
the West
no,
Village.
you know what I meant.
Yeah.
Gracie Mansion.
Gracie Mansion.
But
We're
yeah,
moving you into Gracie Mansion.
That'd be gorge. I'm like, I
Gorge,
just
gorge.
need someone to let my 2 dachshunds in, please.
Oh, one
I
loud,
know,
one good.
I know they're loud, but they're cute and they are
are.
good and they will love you fiercely. Just let them in.
As we love you fiercely, and we've so loved this episode. I mean, just like, I know that this is going to make the readers tickled pink. And February 3rd.
February 3rd, welcome to Barrio, stream on all platforms. And right now you can tune in on IG. You can find us at Welcome to Barrio on TikTok. And you can find me at Becca Ramos, wherever you can find me.
And the Tumblr is out there somewhere.
And my
Yeah.
Tumblr, if you find it, honestly, congrats.
If you find it, you deserve to
Yeah.
read it.
you deserve to read
You
it.
deserve to
Yeah.
read it if you can find it because it's not under my name, so
Nope.
I'd be shocked. I have Googled myself many times, it hasn't come up. So
Okay.
Don't
Feels
Google,
ironclad.
Don't
Hey,
keep Googling yourself.
And
Stop that.
Can I give you a
Recipe
piece of
for
advice?
disaster.
trust, because I was featured on Daily Zeitgeist years ago,
Yeah.
like when I first joined podcasting, and I had the audacity to look myself up on Reddit, and
Never a good
I
idea.
made one comment about a pop star that I'm sure everyone can assume, and it wasn't even that bad. I apologized immediately. It was like, don't come for me, and then it was like, she hates women. So I know better. I
There
will
you
not
go.
be Googling myself after this venture. Now that I am a public personality, I will never Google
Welcome
myself
to the fray.
again.
You're just in time.
You're just in time. We end every episode with the song.
My pussy
Pussy
tastes like Pepsi Cola. My eyes are wide like cherry pie. For more of that, listen to Lana Del Rey. You should have already.
Should have known already.
We've been since day ones.
We've been day ones for Lana.
Bye.
Yeah!
Las Culturistas is a production by Will Ferrell's Big Money Players and iHeartRadio podcasts.
Created and hosted by Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang. Executive produced by Anna Hosnier and Hans Sani.
Produced by Becca Ramos. Edited and mixed by Doug Babe and Monique Laborde.
And our music is by Henry Kapersky.